Hello and welcome to another episode of Breaking Late. I'm your host Michael, and with me again is JD. How was your weekend, mate?
Not too bad. How about yours, mate?
It was good. Lots of racing. Do you drive on Dunlop tyres?
No.
No? Yeah, no, neither do I.
I don't have problems with my Dunlop tyres.
No? No, well, wasn't that a big talking point of this weekend?
It was unbelievable on the Saturday race, especially.
It was just crazy. I haven't seen, I think it was like 15 cars that had, 15 tyre issues.
Yeah, massive amount of tyre issues. It cost a lot of people race wins. It just was like a musical chairs of who was going to get in there or get positions, and all of a sudden they're off the track or they're into someone or locking up a brake.
It was kind of like, you saw sometimes you watch a race and you're like, all right, we're in a nice groove now. And, you kind of see when someone will stuff up if there's pressure applied onto them. But this was sort of like Russian roulette. You drive around and bang, your tire's gone. And,
Seemed to be quite random. Yeah, I agree, yeah.
It was crazy. But we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll do our recap of the Super 2s.
Will Brown's looking good again, isn't he? For a rookie of the year?
He did pretty good in practice.
Yeah, yep.
LeBrock in the Nissan, he was just the form setter this weekend, really.
He's found the groove in the car, yeah. Apart from having that little misdemeanor in one of the races.
Yeah, we also unlucky in race 1, to be honest. I think Gary Jacobson pipped him at the last lap in the rain when the rain started to come in. Jacobson that was his first race win for the season, so that was good for him to get one under the belt.
Oh, it's good to have him turning it around as well. He's obviously the championship number 1 from last year, so it's been a pretty slow start actually to the championship. We're already halfway through the championship now for Dunlop, so that's really big result for him to finally turn that form around. He was pretty good at the last round. He just didn't have the luck, and now he's showing he's got the pace again. And he's doing quite well.
Yeah, well, we'll do our Bryce watch for this race. He was running quite well. He was running up, I think around about 12th, 10th. I don't think he got to crack the top 10, sorry. I think he was around about 12th to 13th for most of that race. I'm not 100% sure the issue he had in race 1. He did drop back down to 18th. And I'm not sure if that was the one that he had the issue with Kurt Kostecki, actually. He had a run-in with Kurt Kostecki at the end, and he copped a 35-point penalty.
Yeah.
It's kind of... I didn't really see any onboard footage of it, and the live coverage of it, it was a fast shot. I think he might have just went a bit too wide and run Kurt off the road, and both of them went off the track, and Kurt didn't finish the race. And Bryce
dropped quite a lot of positions.
Lost a lot of positions.
Yeah, ended up back in 18th.
With the way that the Dunlop racing is there's only one qualifying session for it, so it's where you finish is where you start. On the Saturday race, on race 1, he did manage to work his way up 8 positions and finished 10th. We're still talking about Bryce here. That was a good race. Now, I can't actually remember. There was one of the races he worked his way up quite high up in the grid, and he actually got spun by your mate, Will Brown.
Yeah, okay.
Not good. I think that was the Friday race.
Yeah.
But good pace. Like, this is something that we were talking about this before off air. He's showing a lot of pace in the old car, but he's doing these... I don't know if he's driving it a bit too hard to try and get noticed more in this old car.
I don't think he's
definitely getting a lot more airtime.
He's pushing it a lot harder, obviously, because he has to drive the wheels off it because it's in a slow car. They're meant to be nearly a second a lap slower than the new cars on most tracks. So he's obviously giving it his all, and he's pushing quite hard, and therefore he's pushing it closer to the edge than a few of the others. I think he's really just, after this weekend, he's had to put his head down now and look forward for the Nissan in Townsville.
Well, they do, yeah. The next race for the Dunlop is in Townsville, so he will be in the Nissan, and I expect to see him quite competitive. He should have good pace. He's getting the pace out of the cars now. Like, he's not qualifying, up the front, but he is still very mid-pack. He's still probably one of the best performers in the old car.
Yeah, definitely. It might take him a round or two to get his head around the new spec car, but we'll wait and see, and he'll turn it around hopefully.
But Jack LeBrock took the race win on the
He's looking
both races on the Saturday.
pretty good in the championship right now, I reckon, with the pace that he's found in these Nissans now, so he's looking quite good. He's actually confirmed for Hidden Valley as a wildcard entry.
Yeah,
actually,
that's another thing we'll jump on a bit later in the episode with the with the wildcard entries now confirmed. Anton Di Pasquale? How do you...
Pasquale?
Pasquale, sorry. Great weekend for him.
Yeah, really strong. Not the biggest team out there too, and to get a second in the third race is really strong effort.
Well, not only that, on the fourth race, after LeBrock suffered that massive tyre failure towards the end of the race, because he was cruising. Like, LeBrock had that race in the bag. He was seconds ahead, driving that car beautifully, like keeping it off the curbs. This is the strange thing about it. He didn't really ride the curbs. He wasn't aggressive on the steering wheel. He was doing everything he needed to do to bring that car home. And then coming into turn one, massive tyre failure. Did a great job to keep that car on the road, but destroyed that Nissan.
Yeah, a fair bit of damage done to the car over the weekend.
I've never seen that much damage from just the tyre blowout, considering it ripped like the door off.
Yeah.
And the inside of the car full of fiberglass. Like crap everywhere.
It's something with these new gen cars that you've seen in the last few years. Now when they have tyre failures, it's so much of the cars that are actually composite and fiberglass components on the car. So the guards, the quarters, the door skins, apart from the driver's door, they're all composite. So when they do have a tyre failure now, it looks so much more dramatic than it used to be, because they're obviously steel guards and stuff and back in the day. So when it goes wrong now, it goes wrong in such a big way. They explode.
Well, LeBrock ended up coming into the pits. They got that car out. I'm surprised. Like, they ripped the back bumper off, chucked a heap of race tape, 100-mile-an-hour tape, shut that door, gave him a new set of tires, and said, get on your way. Unfortunately, he broke the rules.
Didn't see the red light.
Yep. So this is something we will touch again on, because
happened
Fabian
twice over the weekend. Yeah,
did it on the Sunday race. And this is not a new rule, and there's people, I've read comments on the internet where people are like, what's this stupid new rule coming in or anything? It's not a new rule. If the safety car is going around the track and it's coming onto the start-finish, onto the main straight, the pit lane will close.
Yeah.
So the idea is you're not filing into the rest of the field. Like, you've come to the pits, you're going to have to go behind. He just drove straight through that red light.
Yeah, I don't think he realised it was even there, and probably the engineers probably should have prompted him on it, but everyone kind of missed it, and as we can see, it can happen in the main game as well. Everyone kind of missed it, and got the penalty for it.
So I think he got docked 35 championship points for that incident. Yep. I mean, that's a lot. I think he's still. Let's just quickly check up on the leaderboard. So Paul Dumbrell is still leading the Drivers' Championship, followed by Todd Hazelwood. Todd Hazelwood's 35 points behind. LeBrock, 81 points, after that 35-point penalty. And then you got Shea Davies, who's 239 points behind. So really, this is starting to look like a three-horse race.
It is going to be quite a good championship with these three great drivers at the front there, and obviously Paul Dumbrell with all the experience, but you got two young guns gunning for him now. It is going to be a really good championship.
And I'm really liking the fact that the young guys are bringing it to Dumbrell and the older drivers in the field, because you still got like the likes of, Jack Perkins, who's, he's done many years. Well, he's done a few years in the main game, and, he's had to stop racing for the main game for health reasons, but to come back in here, is he still signed on for a Pertec Endurance Cup run?
I think he is, yeah.
So he's still, I mean, this is mainly for them to keep race fit, and also a good benchmark for the younger guys.
Yeah. Jack's actually doing quite a good job in a small team as well. He's been
he had a bit of issues in one of the races this weekend. He had a steering failure.
It's always nice.
Yeah, I know.
On a really slow circuit. Like Phillip Island.
With no turns at all. It's just nice.
None of it's high speed either.
But yeah, so big big shout out to Anton. That was a great result for the weekend. I was really impressed to see him come out for his first round win and first race win.
Yeah, it's really, really strong result.
Main game.
Where do you want to start, mate?
Oh, I'll quickly touch on my points of qualifying. DJR Team Penske sort of nailed qualifying.
Yeah, they just had it in the bag.
The laps times that they're getting out of those cars are phenomenal. They are just absolutely killing the rest of the field. I think Scotty, maybe on the Sunday race, Sunday, sorry. I think he set the lap early in traffic and was told, come in pit.
Yeah.
3/10 up on Coulthard, and he's about, half a second. No, not half a second, but we're exaggerating here. He's like half a second up on the rest of the field. You might as well come in and box and just enjoy, come in, have a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. They had it pretty well sorted all weekend for ultimate car pace. They were the fastest out there. Race pace, we were quite quick as well, but obviously we'll talk about that later. But yeah, quite very, very good. Scotty still had the shine on Phillip Island, a bit like last year.
And Davey Reynolds, he sort of got the B pole, as I was saying.
Yeah.
Tim Slade called it the B pole. Best of the rest, really.
He did quite a good job this weekend.
Erebus did really well.
Yeah. Unfortunate problems in the race, but other than that, he did quite a good, strong effort from them.
It was good to see ProDrive back because you had Cam Waters in 7th, Chad Mostert in 6th, and Frosty up in 4th.
Yeah, they did quite a strong
really
effort
impressive
again.
To see Frosty bounce back after,
pretty
not
shady,
the great start.
Yeah, exactly, start of the year.
I was Sunday race, but I was happy to see. Spoiler alert. ProDrive, come through on the Sunday. It was good to see.
Yeah, no, they've Frosty's a lot happier. They've changed the brake package on his car, and he seems to be a lot happier with the car now. So hopefully that makes them a lot more competitive as the year goes on.
Heading to the Saturday race, the first of the 250-kilometre races. Did you enjoy the 250 case?
It was as in general for the weekend.
Yeah. Having the two 250k races.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah,
it's much better than the sprint races. Yeah,
I missed the old Phillip Island 500, so it was good to get back there and have not endurance, but like a 250. Yeah, it's like a mini endurance, I guess you call it. But yeah, longer length races, I definitely like it. Brings more strategy into it, and it's quite good.
I'd love 500Ks every round we go to.
Yeah, well, it would be nice, but yeah.
It's not going to happen, but we can dream.
Yeah.
Well, sad day. Dunlop, what have you got to say for yourself? Or are you not blaming Dunlop?
Yeah, I don't know. I can only go off what the teams say, and not all the teams are blaming Dunlop.
No, but I think something has to be said to them. And they've said they're going to look in. They're going to begin to work out on these tyres and try and find out what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's just a high abrasive track. People maybe were running too much camber and low tyre pressures. Dunlop, obviously everyone was probably running the minimum tyre pressure.
Yeah.
And Dunlop upped that for the Sunday, and they also upped the camber numbers for Sunday. But yeah, I think people maybe got greedy because it was a bit funny that there were some teams that weren't having any failures on the Saturday at all versus other teams were having every car of their team was failing.
Oh, yeah, like ProDrive had the worst luck. I think Chaz blew like 2 rears, Frosty blew a front.
And I think Mark Scaife actually touched on it before the race, actually. He did quite a good sort of look into the race and said the race was all going to be about tyres and how well you can look after it and who's toned down their car from a qualifying car into a race car. And that is exactly what he's trying to talk about, is basically you can get outright pace out of the car and not look after the tyres, i.e. dial camber out of it and look after the tyres a bit more, and not get the outright pace out of it. So they had to make like a happy medium because obviously if you're slow, you're going to be down the back, and if you're too quick, you're going to blow tyres.
But these tyres weren't like, I don't know, I didn't feel like they were pushing the tyres. I mean, they probably were pushing the tyres to the limit, but they didn't look like they were pushing the tyres to the limit. And all the drivers said, well, they gave no warning. And these
Yeah.
tyres weren't
Yeah.
like, oh, they've fallen off the cliff, or, they've got to the point where they become unusable, like we've just worn them and they've lost all the pace out of it. And that's what I took away, is just as the general watcher of the sport, when they go, you got to look after the tyres, you think tyre life, not, you got to make sure they don't explode and rip half your car up.
Yeah, so it would be interesting to see some of the tyres off like the 888 car and stuff like that when they come in, to see how much was left on the inside of the right hand side of the car, basically the front and rear, because both ends were failing, predominantly fronts. But to just see that, basically find out, okay, well, there was nothing left on the inside, they got lucky.
Yeah.
Or, hang on a second, maybe we've got a blistering problem, maybe we've got something else. It didn't seem like that. It seemed like they were just failing after they got to a certain heat sort of on the inside. So
Just
it was
sort of too hot and let go.
yeah, exactly. Like it was over pressure, or not pressurizing as in PSI, but putting too much load on that inside edge, and the casing failing.
Away, yep.
Yeah. I think that was more what was happening, not like what we predominantly would see with either going over a curb and it puncturing it and then it failing, or the tire falling off a cliff and going heaps slower. It was more, I think, just load related.
Getting to the point, just giving in.
Yeah.
Quick thing on the Speed Cafe article that I have up right now. This says the soft tire will return to action in October's super cheap Bathurst 1000. I thought all races were soft tires.
That would be interesting, actually. Yeah.
So we're going back to the hards for the rest until Bathurst.
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
we probably should have done a bit of
do
research before, but I thought we were going to all softs.
Yeah, I thought all the rounds were going to be soft, all the sprint rounds anyway. So
we'll see how they go.
maybe that's just worded wrong.
Yeah, that could be.
Like maybe they meant an endurance round would be the next endurance.
But we'll find out in a fortnight what
Yeah.
they race over in WA. Yeah, the tyres on Saturday, God, that was the biggest talking point. We did touch on Erebus Reynolds' gearbox issue. Unfortunate for him, because he was doing quite well, because there was that big incident at turn 2 at the start of the race, which gave a lot of people a free kick, but then they sort of everyone got brought back when all their tyres started blowing up. Really?
Yeah, it did. It was it was quite a weird race to watch. I was discussing that with you before about. It was really kind of annoying, yet I really enjoyed watching it still. I'm not sure why, but
yeah, if it wasn't
really
tyres
unpredictable.
All right, let's talk about the 15-second penalties.
the raining down of penalties of people crossing the into the
you
working
get a penalty,
area.
and you get a penalty, and everyone gets penalties.
Yep. Yeah, it was
that
pretty out of control, and there was some pretty angry, irate drivers out there saying, well, hang on a second, if they're going to bring in that rule and enforce it, maybe we should have been notified at driver's briefing that this was coming.
Yeah, and apparently that rule was signed off by all the team managers on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I think it was Tim Edwards had it on his desk when either Rihanna or Crompto went down. Not Crompto, Greg Rust went in and was asking him about, the penalty for Frosty, and he's like, yeah, well, here's the rules. We've all signed off on it. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
You
think people
they
learn
would
their
have told the
lessons quickly?
drivers?
Yeah, well,
no
you'd
one
think
did
so.
it twice.
Yeah.
No one got a 30-second penalty.
Yeah, I think you'd learn your lesson pretty quick. Hard justice, I guess. The rules, and everyone had to abide by it. And when everyone broke it, at least they did do it for everyone. When it started raining down, they didn't just skip a few people.
You only got picked up on that when it was on the camera.
Yeah,
and this is
true.
something. It's like, if it wasn't for the TV coverage, you're not getting picked up, because they were trying to work out why McLaughlin got it first, right?
Yeah,
so they're looking at it going, maybe it was
early.
because you went into the pits too early.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, he might have been a little too early when he pulled in, but not
massively
too early to justify the penalty. And then they went back to the start of the entry, and then they're like,
down pit
here's him going in across those dotted white lines, and followed by 3 other cars. And then as soon as that, then they're going, well, they should get penalties. And 5 minutes later, less than that, 97, 5.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting 15-second penalties.
It was pretty crazy that the engineers weren't all over the radio, to be honest, after Scotty got his. Obviously, everyone's pretty busy and they're not really watching the telecast. They're watching what's happening with fuel numbers and tyre wear and talking to their drivers on.
They must have
when
one
they can
guy
get,
at least keeping an eye on the telecast.
There would be at the bigger teams, especially, probably not the smaller teams. But yeah, it was quite weird that no one was getting on the phone. Like,
well, the crazy thing is, it wasn't the smaller teams getting picked up on it.
No.
I mean, the smallest, use this in quotations, the smallest team is Nismo.
Yeah.
And even then, they're not a small team.
Well, they're a 4-car team, arguably one of the biggest teams.
Yeah. It's not the most successful team.
Yeah.
But Simona got picked up on that, and that really ruined her race because she was on for a great finish.
We had a couple of really strong showings, yeah, from a couple of drivers that we probably didn't expect it from this weekend as well. It was a bit mixed up, obviously, because of the tyres and the penalties and stuff like that. That obviously shook the field up a fair bit. But Alex Rouleau did a great job in the race and then had a problem at the end there.
Yeah.
I can't remember who hit him. Percat? Was it Percat that had a failure and he skidded down and
I think
nailed Rouleau in the right rear corner, which ended up ruining his chances of a top 10 finish, where he was doing really, really well, and he had fairly good pace too.
Yes, JD did come over and give me some pie. He's like, "Here, have some humble pie. What are you gonna say about Rouleau?" And I'm like, "It's one race." No, he's getting better, and I did notice this. He's outperforming Taz.
Yeah, he did a great job this weekend. I'm not
maybe
sure.
it just took him a little bit. Do I still agree that he's there
on merit?
No. On merit, yeah, he's starting to prove. I mean, he's still very much back runner, and he's got a lot to learn. My only issue is we got these rules now put in place. Why break them the first year we've got them in place?
Yeah, I understand that. I agree.
He's doing a good job. He's staying out of trouble. He hasn't caused a big accident.
Yeah, and the team's been quite responsible with how they run him as well. So that's
they will pull him out. You know, if he's going to start pulling up the leaders, if you're out in front, come in pit, get out of the way. But Lucas Dumbrell sort of do that a lot anyway. Well, lately, especially with Rouleau and Douglas, they've sort of been pulling them out of the way.
Taz seemed to struggle a little bit this weekend compared to Rouleau.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is.
Also, something I wanted to quickly say, shout out to Erebus for sending over one of their main engine or car rebuilders over to Lucas Dumbrell and with a jig. To help get those cars rebuilt, because Erebus was one of the teams that got out of Tasmania relatively unscathed. I don't think they had any cars involved in the Saturday incident.
Yeah.
Sent them over one of the guys and a jig to help get those cars rebuilt in time. So, it was good team it is teams helping other teams.
Yeah. It is very good to see Erebus out there helping out.
Saturday. Cam Waters.
He's been a little bit in the wars, hasn't he?
After calling bloody murder over the Lowndes incident, which Lowndes did get docked 35 championship points. Yep. Ask me, a bit rich.
Yeah. They handed down the findings at Phillip Island for the Waters.
Would you done the same thing? Say you're in Lowndes' position, he's pushed you out wide into the water.
I think he was pretty lucky, to be honest. A few of the other drivers may have not just run him off, like gently escorted him into the dirty line. They might have shoved him. I think 35 points was pretty.
That's for the bump and run.
Yeah, I think he was. 35 points is a pretty harsh penalty.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a Lowndes fan, and I know Lowndes does the bump and runs.
Yeah, he does.
A few. I mean, I remember at the V8s a few years ago, at Hidden Valley, we were there and we went and said, Lowndes, how's it going? Yeah, he's like, yeah, good. Just got docked 35 points for the bump and run. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right, you did that. I forgot that. So he's got a track record of doing it, but
a lot of them do. But
that was what back in the day you're allowed to do that. But yeah, Cam Waters whinging about this, and then goes and punts Courtney, sorry, in the Boost Mobile 1 Holden Commodore. Very orange, that car.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
No, I didn't. I had much
to be honest,
Scotty Pye's looking car.
Yeah, it was a bit funny that he was, He was a little bit in the wars in that first race in general. A lot of them were, but that first corner incident was pretty crazy.
That put a lot of people. That ruined a lot of races. Davo,
Yeah.
straight up, he was out.
Oh,
Poor
he
Davo.
didn't have any luck, did he? Broke a oil pump belt
Yeah.
when he went through the gravel trap. They reckon it must have Rock must have got up in there and got in behind the belt and snapped the belt in half and lost oil pressure.
I mean, you can understand it must be very easy to do. Like
Ah,
when those
yeah.
cars go in, the amount of gravel that goes everywhere.
Yeah.
I always see it, same as when Courtney got pulled out, and then when he drove straight out and like on the inside line, which is the racing line, is just
Hit the
dropping
brakes.
rocks
Yeah.
everywhere. I'm like, stay offline and do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're only going to hit that next lap.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh, well. Well, Fabian, after everyone's penalties got put in place, actually, let's jump on the Lowndes' getaway from the safety
Restart.
car.
And at
after
the end of the
restart,
race.
Yeah.
Nice
Did he-
effort. Well, where
How
did he
many
end up?
cartons do you reckon he slipped Fabs?
Yeah, I reckon he owes him a favour there.
Because, I mean, it did put Lowndes down to 12th.
Yeah.
So Lowndes just went when the
He
safety car, like, as soon as
As soon as he got to the acceleration line where he was allowed to go, he did.
just like, I got to put as many seconds on the rest of the field as I can. I think he got
3
2 or
seconds
3,
nearly.
yeah.
Yeah.
good job. I mean, Fabian was the one that was like not really paying too much attention. And then Whincup and that didn't really go with Fabian either.
Yeah.
So I think it must have cost Lowndes like 2 or 3 cartons.
I think Whincup was kind of helping out a little bit as well. He was a little bit sluggish on the restart as well. Maybe deliberate, maybe not. No one really said anything, so he got away with it. But
something. Van Gisbergen did a pretty good drive back to 4th after he got the because he was another one that got the 15-second penalty, but he took it during the race, early on, and gave him enough time to recover.
yeah.
And drove up to 4th. I mean, these are one of the things. I know he had a shocking Sunday, but recovering to 4th and being that close to the podium and stuff is how you become a champion with the points. Turning your bad days
It's something
into
Jamie
all
did
right.
for a very long time, and he was probably the best in the field. And Van Gisbergen actually turned that around last year as well. When you have a bad day, you've got to make it a top 10.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago that Jamie's bad days were coming second.
Exactly. So Shane's definitely worked on that a lot, and he's doing quite well now with that sort of side of it. You know, points equals prizes, and he's getting them.
Jumping to the Sunday race, we know that Shell V-Power Falcons had another front row lockout.
Couldn't convert it this time, but
No, and Scotty actually can't get off the line. I don't think
No,
he's
he's
ever
struggled.
beaten Fabian to turn 1 on any track that he's had pole in this year.
yeah, they did talk to Ryan Story about it during the race, and he said, well, you got to think that Fabs has had a year of learning the bite point and stuff in the Falcon and all that. It's going to take Scotty a little bit of time. He's like, we're really happy with how he's going. He's not a slug off the start. He's just not as quick as Fabs yet. So give him time and he'll get there.
But still, it's got to be a little bit of a bonus for Fabs. He's got to take some confidence out of that, because really, if you're qualifying second and you're beating your teammate every time down to turn 1, you might as well be qualifying first.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. He really is.
I think, and I am quite liking Fabs driving. All this talk at the start of everyone going, Scotty McLaughlin, and then Fabian's actually stepped up and he's leading the championship.
They were kind of riding
Fabs off.
Yeah.
No
Fabs off.
one was talking about Fabian.
Yeah, they were
And
like,
if they
how's
were,
he
they're
gonna
going,
deal?
how's he going to cope?
Yeah, how's he going to cope with Scotty coming to the team?
It's kind of a bit like last year with Van Gisbergen coming to the team. Everyone's like, how's he going to cope with Whincup? Rah.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, won the championship.
Yeah.
Too early to say Fabian 2017 champion.
Too early, yeah, definitely. Definitely
But-
with the
but,
way
you
that
know, it's a possibility.
with DJ Penske seem to
Throwaway races.
yeah, they're doing the old Ferrari throwaway race strategy.
Let's get into it then. I don't have notes for Sunday because I went to a mate's place to watch it. But I did say to him, because he's like, oh, Shell V-Power, they're looking very strong. I'm like, yes, they are. And I was wearing my Red Bull shirt. I'm not going to lie. Was not super happy with the Red Bull results lately. But I said, no, don't worry about them. They've got a way of throwing away a race victory. And boy, was I right.
Yeah, it was the PRA show, actually, in the end, wasn't it?
It really was.
It wasn't. The other Falcons actually come good.
I don't really worry about the PRA because at the moment they're not a threat. I mean, they might be. They might be turning into a threat. And you know what? If we've got a three-way constructed team fight, good. That's only good. That's what we need for this sport. But in the driver championship, you know, between Red Bull, like the Red Bull drivers,
Shane and Fabs.
I don't think Mostert and that are really a super threat at the moment.
No, they're not consistent enough. Really not consistent enough. They've started to find pace in the car again, which is really good, but that's really promising.
Oh, Chaz was blistering pace. Like, he was setting some really good lap times. Like, we do have to remember that, you know, the times that Shell set in the qualifying were ridiculously quick.
Yeah, I agree.
They were lap records, like qualifying lap records. And I think Scotty McLaughlin actually set a race record as well on the Sunday.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
did. We got these new tires. They do explode a little bit.
They were talking about Chaz's car as well. They were saying, why don't they slow Chaz down a little bit? They had so many tire problems. But
he also had
obviously reset
a big lead on Frosty. And do you think they would have got to the point where...
Well, Frosty and him weren't going to battle for the lead anyway. Let's be honest here. They could have slowed him down. And
Frosty did make the comment at the end. We're going, oh, well done to Chaz. You know, we're not the same team.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's good to have, you know, Pro Drive up there. Do you reckon it's a bit of a cheap shot? I bashed my head to why Tim Edwards split them up.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I was discussing this with a mate of mine today, and we talked about it over and over last year. It probably sound like a broken record, but obviously he wanted the Drivers' Championship, didn't really care about a team championship, and that was the best way he could see of doing it. No double stacking of his two best drivers, yada, yada, yada. But he took the competition away from Frosty and from Chaz. He also split Chaz's engineer away from him. It just... So many poor decisions last year, and it's taken them this long to sort of get
everything back
together.
Groove.
Yeah,
and, I mean, now Chaz is clicked with his engineer.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Pro Drive will be this strong throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I'm not super holding my breath on them being, you know, they will probably win more races this year, but I still think our tips this year are going to be either Shell or Red Bull.
Yeah, definitely. They look like the two strongest teams by far. And consistent teams.
GRM did a pretty good result this weekend.
Yeah, Moffat was actually showing pace.
And then we didn't touch on Tander last race, but he finished up on the podium.
Yeah, really strong effort from them. Unbelievable to think that they didn't know what type of car they were running until last minute, and already managing podiums. So, great effort. Really, really great effort. One thing I wanted to touch on was, it was pretty crazy. So, talking about the Dunlop tyres from Saturday, same tyres on Sunday, nearly no failures apart from Red Bull. Now, Red Bull had no failures Saturday. Obviously, this touches on what I was talking about before. It seemed to be more of a setup issue than it was a tyre issue.
Yeah, because I think Triple Eight sort of were like, oh, stuff it. We didn't have tyre issues.
I reckon Let's
go a little bit more aggressive because they were chasing pace. Like
yeah, exactly. They were a little bit slow on the Saturday, so they went for a bit more pace, went aggressive on the setup, and lo and behold, they chewed up some tyres. And
Whincup and Shane both blew rears, but Lowndes blew front.
Yeah, and on the same lap for Whincup and Shane.
Yeah.
They
was
unbelievable.
They were lucky enough to
have a big enough gap.
So they didn't double stack. But they were in love with double stacking on the Saturday.
On the Sunday?
On the Sunday,
yeah. It was uncontrollable. I couldn't believe it.
Couldn't help themselves. They haven't double stacked in a while. Let's get it out of our system. Let's get all our double stacking, and we'll do two pit stops in 2 laps, and we'll still double stack.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, to be honest. I wasn't sure what was going on. When I seen him come back in, I'm like, are they replaying it?
Yeah,
What's
it's
going
just
on
like,
there?
No,
Must
no
be
one else
replay.
came in, but it must have been funny. Like we had this joke about it before, going, all right, so the cars came in, pitted, took all the fuel that they could fit in, went, did one lap behind the safety car, and all of a sudden you can fit another like 8 liters in there. Like, how rich were one of those cars? You could just imagine they're on the limiter. They're limiter bashing the whole way around behind the safety car.
Yeah.
Got to burn 8 liters of fuel so I can fit it in.
Just plucked first gear or second gear and
Yeah,
the whole way around trying to burn some fuel off. I don't know how they did it, to be honest, in one lap to get. They
I was
just
just
must
half
have.
expecting to watch the fuel guy just like, yep, it's in, yep, all right, we're running, yep, with the car's fuel, just spray it out everywhere. Like, we could probably drop like 3 or 4 liters out, like just splashback.
Yeah.
They do it sometimes. The amount of fuel that they lose out the side, like when they splash out, is.
Yeah, sometimes, exactly. I'm not sure how they did it. It'd be interesting to find out.
And something, fuel-wise, this is the first year they've changed to, well, first year recently that they've changed to Shell V-powered fuel. I'm going to do a bit of research into it, but they were running United E85 that used to tell us all the time. Shell V-powered fuel is just 98 octane.
Yeah, so it would be interesting to see whether that's just a branding thing that they're using to try and sell, obviously, their fuel, whether it is still an E85 branded as a Shell V-Power.
All you need to do is just walk around the pits and just
smell.
E85, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a pit garage tour. We'll probably just ask them, what fuel you're using. Oh, we're using Shell. Yeah, I know, but you're using it 98 or E85?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll find out and we'll let you know. Because it was interesting. I was just, there wasn't a
there was no publicity.
big announcement, really. There was a small press release. But anyway, back onto the Sunday race. I don't know what to say with Scotty's pit strategy.
Pitting
Shocking.
and then pitting again as well for more fuel. Another car that was doing it as well.
Yeah. They threw that race away. They really did.
Yeah, it was weird. It's like they didn't realise they needed more fuel in the car until the TV presenters went down there and went, "You still got 4 liters or something."
Oh yeah, we knew that. We knew that.
Like,
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know. Fabian had the drive-through penalty because he drove through the red lights like LeBrock did, which we've touched on. So you understand why he's down in 17th.
Yeah, I do.
But Scotty McLaughlin had no tyre failures. Pretty much led the race. Because first safety car on like lap 2 or lap 1.
Yeah, everyone piled in.
Scotty stayed out. So you're like, all right, I can understand that.
Maybe he started with a bigger fuel load.
He could have had the more fuel so they didn't have to put as much, couldn't fit the fuel in.
Yeah. Could also explain why he was sluggish off the start. Maybe different strategy.
But I just scratching my brain to work out what they were doing. They didn't react. They didn't react to anyone, and you kind of do need to react. If people start to pit and going, oh shit, you can't just have your one set strategy going, we're sticking to this.
Well, especially with the fact that people were getting a gain out of putting new tyres on, like quite a big gain.
Mm.
So yeah, it was making it harder at the end of their stints, but when you slotted back in, you had to have a lot of pace so you could pass them all again. Otherwise, you were just going to get stuck behind these cars. And,
I also think they didn't expect everyone to run as long as they did on the tyres, because even Dr. Ryan Story was saying to the telecast, like, oh yeah, they're done on fuel, but they've still got, I think, was it 20 or 30 laps or something to do on a set of tyres.
Yeah.
They're like, they still got to do all these laps on these tyres. They're never going to make it. And I was like, yeah, I can understand why you'd be a bit cautious on tyres after the day before. Yep. But the rest of the cars did great. Like Mostert didn't really look like he was conserving his tyres until like the last 2 laps, where he sort of dropped that gap back down to, I don't know, 4 seconds or something.
Yeah. He looked like he was pushing quite hard, to be honest. He was setting fastest times and stuff like that.
It was crazy.
Weird.
But we'll wrap up the results for race 6. Chaz Mostert did come home first, followed by Frosty, bringing a Pro Drive 1-2.
Strong effort from Reynolds in third.
Yeah, Erebus, good result. And Dale Wood in 8th as well. So that's a 3rd and 8th. That's a pretty good result for them.
Yeah, solid effort for them this weekend.
Moffat in 4th, which we've touched on. GRM, pretty good result. Lee Holsworth, great result, 5th.
Yeah, it's good to see him having some luck and turning the car around back in 5th there.
Cam Waters recovered from a shocking Saturday for a 6 in Sunday. Garth Tander backed up his podium with a 7th. Dale Wood we've touched on. Rick Kelly and Michael Caruso rounding out the top 10. Didn't the Nissans get into a little bit of a battle?
I was going to say, what did you think of the little battle that Caruso, Todd and Rick were having? When Todd fed Caruso wide.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they're just racers at heart and they just got to race.
Maybe they were just having a little bit of fun.
Maybe they just wanted to bend up a few more panels.
Maybe.
I mean, Todd already had the big incident in race 1 where he smashed into the tire barrier
around the Marshalls area. Yeah,
did his side of the car.
Yeah, that really did quite a lot of damage on that car too.
Yeah, it was quite big. I still think this is Todd's last year. So you were Kimmy gone last year. I'm Todd gone.
Yeah, okay.
Last week, Kimmy gone.
We were talking.
Todd gone.
We were talking about that today as well.
Todd goes, LeBrock comes up.
Yeah, probably makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, the LeBrock's signed on for Nissan. I think he's actually racing with Todd.
Yeah, at
in
Bathurst
the endurance.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense that there you go. Move on. Todd needs to step down, and we've said this a lot. He needs to.
He's a lot more competitive this year than he has been, but
he is, and this is another thing. Maybe it's with the fuel. They're not burning as much fuel now. They can actually go.
Yeah.
But I think he should run the race team, and not worry about driving.
He's doing quite a good job of running the team now, so yeah, I think that's something they could probably stick to.
On the whole, it was a great round. Very exciting.
It was quite an exciting round, even with all the penalties and tyres blowing. I guess it made it so you were captivated by the whole races because you didn't know if anything was going to happen or when it was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. You were sitting there going, all right, it looks like everything's status quo now, but who knows what could happen?
Exactly. What's around the corner?
When you didn't think it was going to happen, it happened.
Yeah. So it was a great round to watch.
Great track. I like Phillip Island.
It was good to have the 500 back there and really enjoyable, yeah.
So, in 2 weeks, we head over to Western Australia.
Yep.
Should be a good race.
Barbagallo again.
We won't do our tips this week. We'll do our tips next week. I'm going to ask you your tips of F1 this weekend in Russia. Ferrari or Mercedes? Or a third person. Who do you think?
I'm going to say... Ooh, it's a hard one now, isn't it? It's so close now.
Yeah.
I think Ferrari again, to be honest.
Yeah?
I reckon...
Can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm leaning towards Lewis.
Yeah, it is a hard one between Vettel and Lewis. I think Ferrari have the better race car at the moment, package.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that track will be harder for Mercedes.
Is much passing?
No, it's not as passable as sort of Bahrain, so I think, yeah, it will be interesting to see. Because if Mercedes get caught behind Ferrari, I think that it'll all be over for them sort of thing. Ferrari will be able to control the race, but we'll soon see. We'll find
out. So we'll be back next week for another episode.
Every week now at the
moment.
Every
week, I know. And I don't know if this is going to stop.
2 weeks, and then the week after that, it's V8s again.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure after the Formula 1 in Russia, I think they got 2 week break, then they're into Spain, where Red Bull will be getting a big upgrade, and apparently the McLarens, Honda are getting a big upgrade.
Yep.
Oh, yes, and it'd be good to know that Sauber are very close to signing a deal with Honda for 2018.
Yeah, run, Sauber, run.
Oh, quick update. Super Utes.
Yeah, we were talking about this, actually, yep.
They're looking like they're going to be postponed. I can't say they will be because this is not being confirmed yet, but there's a lot of news coming out that they're going to be delayed until 2018.
Yeah, yep.
So, I was looking forward to this. I'm not 100% sure why now, the more I think about it. Diesel racing, but I just think I like the idea of it. But I don't know if it's going to be executed rightly, and I think that's one of the reasons why. And I think they've only built 3 cars. Is one of the reasons why they're looking at delaying it.
Yeah, I'd say that it's just not had the support as well that they wanted. They don't want to start a series with
only one manufacturer. I mean, the V8 supercars are being very quiet on this this topic. If you go on to the V8 supercars.com/superutes, I think there's only 2 news articles about it. One, they've got a shock supplier, and the other one is Mitsubishi come on board as a manufacturer.
Yeah, they're not publicising it very much.
Yeah, they're
I
really
don't know if that's
saying
a lack of
nothing.
things happening or poor publicity, but
the
one thing or the other.
V8 Utes were back at action again at Phillip Island. I didn't really watch too much of the racing, but very shocked to see that because I thought they were defunct.
Yeah, I thought it was over now, but obviously
I
not.
thought they got bought and done, but maybe they just had enough cars there and wanted to fill in undercard.
Maybe.
But we'll find out, and if we do, we'll let you know. Yeah, so thanks, guys, for joining us for another episode of Breaking Late. If you can leave a review on iTunes, that helps us out a lot. Like and share our page. Tell your friends. Tell everyone.
Hit us up on Facebook or via email and ask us some questions or anything you want to hear about.
Yeah, so our Facebook is facebook.com/Breaking Late, and our email address is breakinglate@gmail.com. That's us, done and dusted this week. We will see you again next week.
For Formula 1.
For Formula 1. See you later.
Talk to you then.
Bye.
See ya.